Hello, my name's Clare Bailey, and I'm a retail expert working for Business Lincolnshire, the Growth Hub, and delivering a series of playbooks which are available to download and are supported by a series of short videos. And this is one of them. This video is part of the range planning and reviews theme and is part three. So this is about your range plan, turning your framework that we talked about in part two into a practical buying plan. So what is a range plan? Effectively, we'd already talked about the range structure, framework, architecture, whatever you'd like to call it in part two. And we've talked about the fact that you have to balance the width of the range. That would be the number of categories and the diversity of choice that you present to customers versus the depth of the range, the level of specialism options that you offer to customers. So that's really important. But this is the point where we're actually going to start populating that outline structure with, the SKU count that we talked about, product 1 to 10, product 1 to 200, or whatever it may be, with actual products. And we have to keep in mind what we talked about in part one about how we link this back to the customer and the brand positioning so that you're always putting products on the range with the customer in mind. The right product and the right pricing, the right promotions, and so on. Now, the other part about a range plan is it becomes your commercial Bible. It's about forecasting by category at the higher level of granularity using past sales data or potentially insights into new categories where there's product development opportunity or new trends that imply that perhaps you're going to see an uplift. It's also worth bearing in mind there may be categories where things will be declining. And so it's about balancing the forecast by sales and by margin and by stock flow by product, all rolled up to category level. And when we come on to the other playbook around supply chain, that data is really, really important for dealing with suppliers. Now, it's really important to make sure that you're matching your range size to your store capacity and your cash flow. Much as you may want to have 1,000 products, if you can only showcase 500, there's no point. So it's about being quite ruthless in determining which products to buy and for what reasons. So obviously, the customer will want to buy the product from you is reason one. Reason two is there's enough margin, cash margin in that product to buy its right to take up the physical space. Because we all know the cost of running a retail business in recent years has just climbed and climbed. Rents and rates and utilities and even staffing are skyward. And that square foot of retail space, if you put a product in it, that product has to earn its right to be there and pay you back for being there, or else some other product should be there. And it's really important to update your plan and make sure you know what you want and what you want to get out of your range ahead of every buying trip. So we're going to go on to my just one thing, which I always have to apologize for never ever being just one thing. But it's the actions that you need to take out of things. So you need to really decide how wide, many categories, or how deep, authority, you want to go. And how many options are you planning to have per category? How many SKUs or products or whatever you'd like to call them? If you go too wide, you're likely to tie up a lot of cash on products that might be slow sellers and also cannibalize each other and proliferate your range. But if you go too narrow, it may feel to customers that there's just not enough choice and they'll walk out. A cleverly curated range and a positioning that understands what the customers want is the sweet spot. Also, you've got to think about how are you selling yourself? As I've said, the specialists will go deep, but that's because they want to be an authority and the go-to destination for whatever it is that you offer. And that's absolutely brilliant if you're an expert in one particular product and can get your brand identity and brand name out there so that people say, oh, if you want whatever it is you offer, you've got to go to their place. They're brilliant. They know everything about everything and they've got so much choice. On the other hand, generalists go wide And if you're a convenience store or a pound shop or something that's a generalist high street retailer, you need to have a lot of choice, that one-stop shop feel. And that's important. But don't forget, specialists tend to be able to charge more because they have that deep authoritative knowledge about the product, whereas generalists do tend to be more on the discount spectrum. And for an independent, I would caution on that because it's very difficult to go head to head with the likes of Tesco. And then in all of this, and you just one thing, make sure that your space can support it. So another short and sweet one. If you want more information, you can access the full Playbook suite via businesslincolnshire.com/programs/retail accelerator program. Obviously, there's many other videos on this YouTube channel that you can look into, both on this topic and others. And if you feel like you'd need to ask for some more support, you can contact your local Growth Hub advisor via businesslincolnshire.com/contact-us. Thank you very much for listening.